Have you ever wondered if the future has already happened? A curious question, isn't it? We're all accustomed to the idea of time flowing in one direction, from the past, through the present, and into the future. But what if it isn't as linear as we perceive? You see, time might be a more relative concept than an absolute one. It bends, it stretches, and sometimes it might even loop back on itself. Time, as we know it, might not be as straightforward as we think. This brings us to an intriguing concept, the time paradox. Now, what exactly is a time paradox? In simple terms, it's a contradiction or logical inconsistency in timeline events that could potentially occur if time travel were a reality. Imagine for a moment that you have the ability to travel back in time. You decide to visit your grandfather in his youth, but in a twist of events, you accidentally cause his demise. This would mean that your existence is now impossible, as your grandfather passed away before your parent was born. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a classic example of a time paradox, known as the grandfather paradox. It's a mind-bending scenario where cause and effect get tangled in a knot of chronological confusion. These paradoxes challenge our understanding of time, causality, and the very fabric of reality. Intriguing, isn't it? But this is just the beginning. Let's delve deeper into the paradox. We've all heard of the grandfather paradox, haven't we? It's a thought experiment that stirs up quite a storm in our minds. Imagine you invent a time machine, travel back in time, and accidentally prevent your grandfather from meeting your grandmother. Now, this is where things get tricky. If your grandparents never met, your parent, and consequently you, would never have been born. But then, who traveled back in time? This paradox challenges our basic understanding of cause and effect. In our daily lives, we see a linear progression of events. The sun rises, we wake up, we plant a seed, a tree grows. But time paradoxes flip this concept on its head. The effect, in some peculiar way, seems to precede the cause. And it's not just the grandfather paradox that boggles our minds, there's also the bootstrap paradox. Imagine you're a scientist who has received a groundbreaking scientific theory from a future version of yourself. You publish it and become famous. Years later, you use a time machine to go back and give this theory to your past self. But then, who originally came up with the theory? Or consider the predestination paradox. Suppose you go back in time to stop a disaster from happening, only to realize that your actions in the past were what caused the disaster in the first place. Again, it's a mind-bending loop where cause and effect are entwined in a seemingly impossible way. These paradoxes pose some challenging questions about the nature of time and reality. They force us to rethink our understanding of causality and the flow of time. They blur the boundaries between past, present, and future, and make us wonder whether these distinctions are as concrete as we think they are. But what does this all mean for us in our future? So, did the future already happen? This question might sound peculiar, but when we delve into the world of time paradoxes, it becomes a legitimate query. It's almost as if we're standing at the edge of a vast cosmic ocean, peering into the depths of what could be. Let's consider for a moment that time paradoxes were possible. In such a case, our perception of the future could be radically transformed. The future, rather than being an uncharted territory, might already be determined. Imagine walking down a path that's already been laid out for you. Every turn, every bend, predestined. It's a concept that straddles the line between philosophy and science, each trying to decipher the mysteries of time. Philosophically speaking, it would challenge our conception of free will. Are we truly free if the future is a pre-written script? On the other hand, scientifically, it could potentially revolutionize our understanding of the universe. If the future is predetermined, it implies that there's an overarching order to the cosmos, a cosmic design that we're yet to fully understand. But of course, these are mere speculations, fascinating as they may be. The reality, we're still learning, still trying to unravel the mysteries of time. It's a journey that's as exciting as it is perplexing. It's a mind-bending concept, isn't it? Maybe the future is already here, just waiting for us to catch up.